All right, so I posted this on the 6.4 forums multiple times, and I've also posted it on my diesel page. So a little bit of an introduction. My name is Jonah. I own and operate SFDE diesel. It's a little, I've been doing it, I guess, on the side part-time for, 12 years now. I am a certified Cummins tech, although really Powerstrokes, especially 6.0, 6.4s, have kind of been my bread and butter, per se. And so I pretty much do this on the side. I do everything from rebuild engines to framework to differentials, diagnosing, repair, performance, everything except transmissions. And with, I guess, that time, 6.4s have kind of became more dominant. Personally, have two of them. Multiple people in my family have them, so it's kind of been a big thing. And I'm starting to get more and more of them in. These trucks are aging. They're not getting any younger. And unlike the 6.0, 6.0 still have a pretty decent part support, but the 6.0, of course, was, it really started production in 2006, late 06, and it was built by, or designed by Navstar, with, done with International, and like a lot of these parts, again, the Borg Warner turbos are more of an overseas turbo, and the big hot commodity item is the K16 injection pump, which is designed by Siemens VDO, or Continental, whichever one you want to call it. And this is a German designed pump. So, and part support for these pumps it lacks severely. And without this, you have pretty much a 8,000 pound boat anchor of a truck, unless you do like a Cummins swap or something like that. So 6.4s, hate them or like them. A built 6.4 will outperform any 6.7 Powerstroke, and I say that with a lot of confidence. These platforms have a whole lot of potential. Yes, they're not built that great from the factory. There's definitely a lot of faults, but no truck has been perfect to date. So I'm just going to kind of make this because I've made a couple posts and there's just a lot of comments, and I'm not going to answer a whole lot of questions. Okay, so as we all know, or if you don't know, this is a Siemens VDO K16 injection pump. This pump is still one of the highest flowing pumps put in a light-duty diesel. This flows 240 liters of fuel an hour at 24,500 pounds, which is a maximum operating pressure. Okay, so this is a heartbeat. Without this, you have nothing. This difference between this pump and say a CP3, which if anyone knows anything about a CP3, they're very reliable pumps. CP3 only flows about 160 liters of fuel and can generate up to 29,000 psi. Okay, but the CP3 has one valve on the pump, and that is a pressure valve, or IPR, injection pressure regulator valve, whichever one you want to call it. Okay, so Siemens has two valves. We have a pressure valve, which is the fat guy here on the back, and then we have the volume valve, also known as the metering valve. Okay, these two work in unison. So you have your low pressure fuel, which comes in. The pump sits like this in the truck. So at the back of the engine's here. This is where it goes, just missing the gear. Okay, your low pressure fuel comes from the filter housing. It goes into here. Your excess fuel comes out of here and will either go to the fuel cooler, or it will go back to the filter housing and then return the circle. Okay, this valve controls that. This valve controls the amount of low pressure fuel that is going to be supplying the pump itself. Okay, now there is a pump inside a pump. Okay, so as we know, this works kind of like a miniature motor. There's little pistons underneath each one of these heads, and that compresses fuel. It's a 3-stage pump. Okay, fuel goes in, piston compresses it, generates high pressure fuel. It goes through the cycle, and it'll discharge through one of these two little ports, which will then feed the high pressure lines, which then feed the rails, which will feed your injectors. So there is a miniature, it's really a positive displacement pump, really. There is a small baby pump that sits back here in this aluminum cavity. Okay. There's a manual regulator, and here's your metering valve / volume regulator that will control the amount of fuel pressure or fuel volume that goes to the pump. The job of this valve here, this valve solely controls the pressure. Now, Siemens calls this the volume valve. They call this the metering valve. To me, I think that's retarded, personally. So, also, if you don't like the way I talk, I'm sorry. It's just kind of just the lingo that I use, or how I know how to talk. I get it's not PC, but I'm not here to be PC. I'm here to make your truck run. So, but to keep things simple, in the United States, as Ford calls them as well, this is a pressure valve, this is a volume valve. So this guy here only cares about pressure being discharged from the pump. Now, of course, this doesn't read pressure. That's why you have a fuel rail pressure sensor that's located on the passenger side of the rail. Remember that sensor too is very important. If that sensor acts weird, it'll throw the whole truck out of whack. Okay? If this valve does not work correctly, you will not have proper rail pressure to your rail. If the volume valve does not work correctly, you will not have proper fuel volume to the pump, which will also not give you proper pressure. So, like an example, if you have a good pressure valve but a bad volume valve, your truck will start and idle, but the second you give it gas where it requires more fuel volume, the truck will die. Same thing goes if under load. Vice versa, if you have a bad pressure valve, typically the truck will still start, but your rail pressure, if you have a readout, will be doing this kind of number. It'll be all over the place. You'll be bouncing about 1,000, 2,000 pounds. Truck will run like complete crap, and you'll get what we call fuel rattle, okay? So, do a little time check here. Cool, still got time. So I mean, there's multiple things it can be, right? So, it is truly hard to diagnose these valves. The reason why I have spent over a year trying to hunt down a manufacturer who can build these valves, new, is because, for example, this is a reman pump, okay? I get these at a discount, but when the companies, most companies, it goes for an Alliant too. I mean, there's a whole lot of legal stuff I have to go through and also getting with these because the big guys don't want the little guys having these damn valves because they want to make the money on them. And I get it, okay? Everybody's about money. I'm right there with you. You know, I think everybody wants to make money. Money makes the world go round, okay? But when they reman these pumps, they only bench test these valves, okay? Now, if this valve ohms out, and I mean, how these valves work, they work by a magnet, okay, or by a magnet. So you have a common hot, which is directly off, typically it's 12.5 volts. So you have a common hot, and then you have your variable wire. So your variable plug, so common hot and variable, and the variable comes directly from the computer. It reads from 0.0 volts to, or 0.05 volts to 12.5 volts. And that will tell the sensor how to actuate. Same thing goes for the volume valve. They both work the same way. That's why they're 2 sensor valves. If they were 3 sensor valves, they would have a readback. So you would have pretty much a commanded and an actual. These do not have that. These only have a commanding view. So even though your computer says, hey, I'm telling the pressure valve to give 25%, it doesn't mean the valve's actually giving 25%. It could be giving 10%. It could be giving 40%. So there's no actual true readout on that. But if these valves bench test, they slap them on these pumps, they package them up, and they sell them out the door to go to you. The problem is, it may not work in a real-world scenario, okay? You put this pump in your truck, you just spent, whatever, $2,000 from Ford. You bought this pump, you throw this pump in there. Well, hell, one of the sensors aren't good. They don't work, or even, what I've ran into a lot is that when the sensor gets hot, the magnet gets weak, the truck just dies. When it gets cold, though, it fires up, everything works fine until it gets hot again. So you have stuff like that. So then you're going to go through, you're going to change the pump out again, hope it works, and maybe you get another babble, maybe you get a good one. Or you change it again, maybe another babble, maybe another good one. So now, it's a lot of labor doing these pumps if anyone's done these themselves. And if you're paying somebody, it's not a cheap job. When you got to pull the turbos out, this pump sits buried in the valley on the very back of the motor. It's not a cheap job to do. In a lot of shops, it's a cab-off job. You can do them with the cab on. I do them with the cab on. To me, they're not too difficult. But it is an expensive job, okay? And ultimately, it's just going to cost you a lot more money. I know I don't like doing things 2 or 3 times. I'd rather do it once, and I'd rather be done with it. So, that is where my problem is. That's why I started doing this. Of course, since then, I have 6.4s have become more dominant with what I work with and also with what I own. This is why I've put more research into these and hunting these valves down. Now, I have found them, thankfully. But they are overseas. They are built in Turkey. And they take about a month to 2 months to get. So I currently have 4 sets right now. I had 1 set that I used to test, which has been good. And I'll get more footage of that later. I don't currently have the truck here. I use my old man's truck as the example because we found you can buy these pressure valves on Friday Parts, about $580, okay? And they work just fine. We put the pressure valve on his because his truck was having issues. We put 3 different pumps in it, still couldn't get a good one. We put a pressure valve in it, truck ran fine up until 8 months later, which was about a month ago. And the volume valve died. So the truck would idle, but the second you gave it throttle, it would die. And he was having a couple situations where he would go to accelerate, and the truck feels like it lost power, okay? So we changed the pressure valve, and Truck ran great, but then the volume valve died, so we went ahead and put the valves on his as a test subject. But ever since we put the valves on his truck, it's ran flawless. It used to be a little jerky, kind of depending on the throttle where you were. And I guess the way I can describe it is like a two-stroke dirt bike, right? You find that power band and it kind of like launches. And it no more jerks, smooth as butter. We're able to hit better rail pressure and actually hit high rail pressure. Because even if you have a valve that's decent, a lot of these valves are 20 years old with God knows how many miles on them, and they still won't range to full range like they're supposed to, from 0 to 100%. So, you know, you really don't know, right? Just because you put it there and run, or just because you put it on there and it runs, doesn't mean it's 100% right. So these pumps are great pumps. I mean, they're really reliable pumps. Some people have them where they grenade. I mean, I really don't see it. It's not hard to maintain your truck. Good motorcraft filters, and change them no more than every 15,000 miles. And if you have a fast pump, hell, even better, right? Good pumps. I got no complaints about these pumps. I think these are some of the best, one of the better high pressure fuel pumps ever built. The only problem I don't like about them is where the hell they put them. So, but okay. So now we got to kind of get out of the way. It's easier for me to say that than just sit there and type it. So what I'm going to kind of do now is kind of give you a rundown on how you can do it if you want to change the valves on your pump. So when you buy the valves from me, I inspect and ohm test every single one of them because I have trust issues. So this is the pressure valve here. Nothing special, right? Got my little SFDE in there, and I have to keep part numbers hidden, otherwise the bigger guys will sue me, particularly the company that rebuilds these for Ford Motorcraft. So, whatever. But this is a pressure valve. This is brand new. Okay, this goes right here on this guy. So we'll take him, put him off to the side. And same thing for the pressure valve. Make sure not to drop it. That's the pressure valve. Okay. Again, this is not a Simmons OEM, but they are new, and they're as close to an OEM as you will get in today's forms. SFD, I like that on there. Good. Okay. Boom. We got our valves. So first things first. We're going to take our pump. We're going to put it up on its face. Okay, it ain't going to be really perfect. It can sit like that. Okay, so what you are going to need, the tools you will need to do all this. I use a little baby stubby 3/8 ratchet. I use a 4mm long Allen with a swivel style head on it. I don't know if the camera will focus on that right there. See, it's a swivel style head. And of course, just to show you at home, guys, if you don't have a nice thin wrench, which is typically what I'll use on that, but channel locks do the job. Sounds crazy, it works. Okay, first things first. Rear cover. There's 3 bolts. They are not that tight. Do not put them on back that tight. They need to be tight, but not over tight, okay? I know people kind of get that mixed up. So we're going to pull these off. Be very, very careful removing this cover, for the love of God. If you scratch up anything too bad, or if something gets missed, or you drop something, you're going to have a bad time, okay? Just so we're aware. All right, take our 3 bolts here. These guys, we'll set them off to the side. And we're going to grab the cover, and I'm just going to slowly work it off, okay? And like I said, very, 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 very carefully. All right. This is inside the pump cover. As you want to see, here's the volume valve. Attaches just like that. Nothing crazy. Like I say, do not scratch this stuff. This ring on this one stayed on. If this ring comes off, do not freak out. It is okay. Remember the way this looks. The 3 holes point towards the top left of the back of the pump, okay? Do not flip this around or get it all mixed up. Otherwise, it will not pump. You'll put it all together, put it all back on the truck, go to fire it up, and the truck will not start. Or if it does, it'll run briefly and then shut off. Ask me how I know. I've learned the hard way. You have to pull it all back apart, flip it around. It's whatever. If it comes off like this, do not touch it, okay? These little flappers, they ray long ways. Okay, this is the way the pump works. Again, I know my hands look dirty. They are clean. But don't get dirt in here, any type of foreign material, ideally. Okay, this gasket, is it recommended to change? Absolutely. Every time you pull anything off with a gasket, it's recommended, hey, change the damn gasket. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to, okay? It's recommended. Yes, you can. They do still make these gaskets. You don't have to. just so you know. But again, when we go to tighten this up, you got to verify that, hey, it is tight enough, it's not going to leak. So we got that off. Now what we'll do is we're going to get our ratchet here. 2 bolts. Again, they're not very tight. And it is okay. Like I tell people, if you're not confident in doing this, then don't. Okay? It's far easier and far better to pay somebody like myself or someone else who knows what they're doing than you mess it up and end up costing yourself a lot more time and possibly a lot more money too. So there's no shame in knowing your limits. Just so we're all clear. Okay? There it is. Boy, you got to kind of pull it off. It is kind of I typically just kind of pull and twist at the same time. Boom, valve's out. Okay, it only goes one way. See how these valves are not like centered. This is a factory valve. This volume valve could have 1,000,000 miles on it. We don't know. Okay, I'm gonna take this guy and put him off to the side. Got our new volume valve here. Let me grab my lubricant of choice is WD-40. This is what I do. Even when I put the fuel lines on, I always spray a little bit of this in the threads, keep it from binding up. I'm just going to take this right here. Try not to bump the camera here. Just kind of spray that on there. It ain't going to hurt anything. It's a good little Cummins trick we do. So I'm going to take this. It's all lubed up. I'm going to set this guy in here. And I'm just going to slowly work it in there, just like that. Okay? Gently. Take these bolts. Again. Carefully. Kind of start them on by hand. Grab the other guy. Put him in there by hand. Grab our ratchet. You want to lubricate in case you pinch an O-ring. You don't want to tear it, because otherwise, then again, the volume valve will not volume control correctly, and then you will have internal leakage. And the truck, again, will not run. So, where it gets tight, I just give like a little bump right there. Boom, done. No more than that. Otherwise, you'll strip them out. Done. Perfect. Volume valve's been replaced. That's how you do that. Now the pressure valve. This is going to be kind of hard because typically what I will do, you don't have a vise inside where the camera's close, but I will put the head of the pump in the vise where it bites the cheeks right here. And then I'll get get my wrench or channel locks, whichever way you want to do it, and pop that volume valve open. So I'm going to try to do this just me. I also normally have help, but I do not have any help. So, and this is, again, the way you can do it at home. Hopefully. I say hopefully. This is definitely the way you can do it at home. But there we go, just like that. Take this off. You unspin the pressure valve. It's going to be kind of stiff. That's okay. Again, cleanliness, I cannot express that enough. Just like that. That's all it is. So like these factory valves, they got no markings on them. Of course, you know, there's a part number here, and a little date there, but I really can't tell when it's manufactured. So we'll put him off next to the other volume valve. Grab the new pressure valve. You've already seen it. Take my little W40. I'm just going to pop the O-ring. Not really too worried about the threads so much, but the O-ring is what I do show my concern for. And then we're going to take this guy. Just don't force the threads. Do not force the threads, but just kind of start it on there. Just like that. Okay, now notice the position of this, okay? It don't have to be ideal, but I'm going to try to tighten that. Oof. Trying to think of the best way for me to do this one-handed, right? Because it is a lot harder. I'm going to try to do it like this without knocking the low pressure pump out of whack. Ooh, it's going to be difficult. There we go. Tight, okay? I know most people think, oh, you really got to put torque on it. No. No, you do not. once that plug hole, it's trying hard to see what the camera mount is, but once this plug is facing pretty much 90 degrees, you're done. No more having to touch it or anything like that. It's good. It's tight. Can't break it loose by hand. We're good to go. So I'm going to pull ahead and put this cap back over that plug. Take this guy, set him back just like that, the way we saw it. Take this guy, I'm going to put this cap back on this plug. I'm going to get a little bit of shop rag just to get a little bit of material away from the lips. A little bit of dirt right there. It's no biggie though. Oh, that's not dirt. It's actually just a casting mark. Okay. But I want to make sure, you know, that there's no signs of, you want it as clean as possible. A little bit of dirt or anything like that would be catastrophic. We're going to make sure, because this comes off, all this stuff comes apart. So I want to make sure all my little flappers are sitting in the seats. Again, they sit long ways, okay? All that looks good. The gasket looks good. We didn't cut the gasket. The gasket's brand new because this is a brand new pump. Well, rebuilt pump, right? So I'm going to take this cover. Okay, it's already got fuel residual in it. We'll flip it back over the way it was. Line the holes up. Remember this hole right here goes on that top spot. So I'm just going to slowly, again, don't force anything when it comes to these. I know we kind of want to sometimes, but there we go, just like that. Boom, she's sat down where it's supposed to be. I'm going to take my bolts here. I'm going to get them in there. Start them. Gonna run them in. They snug up. Nothing crazy. And when you go to tighten them up, again, tight, but don't kill them. Okay, this isn't like it's going to be under super high pressure, low pressure fuel on these pumps. Typically no higher than 6 pounds. Okay. So you know, right there. So that's why I use a stubby too. That way, if you get a long one, you're going to put a lot more ass on it. I ain't trying to do that. So give a little baby here. I'm going to just bite it up. It's kind of the way you see I'm grabbing it. Don't mind the knuckle bleeding. That's pretty normal. All right, it looks good. 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 All right, and boom. Now we have a K16 with 2 brand new valves, pressure valve and volume valve, as God intended. So now I can pretty much guarantee this pump right here is going to go 250,000 miles and have no issues. That's the good thing about it. The pumps mechanically, really anybody who remans these pumps mechanically is never the problem. It's always the valves. The valves always fail because we got these valves. God knows how old these suckers are. This sucker's got a little crusty on her. And see the color difference as well. So, but that's what I do. That's why I do this. It's just kind of me showing everyone and then really just explaining it, because again, it's a lot easier for me to type, or excuse me, a lot easier for me to talk about it than type it out. I hate freaking typing with a passion. This is how you can do it at home. You can buy this at Harbor Freight. You can buy this at Harbor Freight. And if you don't have a pair of channel locks, and you probably shouldn't work on anything anyway, basic household tool. That's all you need. That's it. So, and of course, everything that you get to the pump, right? But that's just how you can do it to the pump. So that's all you got to do. Again, this is why I've done it. I'm only honestly, I'm only making $50 a valve. I'm not getting rich off of these things. But my thing is, there are a lot of guys who love 6.4s. I like 6.4s. They're really, again, like I said before, just an awesome platform to build on. Have a whole lot of potential. And I would like to keep these trucks on the road. I mean, with them being an older truck, they got a lot of modern features to them, and they can make a lot of power. And when they're built right, they can be very, 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 very reliable trucks. So that's where we're at, though. So that's kind of a quick video how you do it. I'll make some more just kind of graphing, or not running graph, trending the truck. Again, the truck's not here. I don't have it with me, so when I do get it back, I'll do some videos on it, just to kind of show people kind of what I'm talking about. But that's going to be it for this, though. I mean, you know, if you watched, I'm glad. If you want to, I don't know if I'm going to put these on eBay. I probably will, just to kind of give y'all prices. I know I've listed them on the Facebook post before in the forums, but I'll go ahead and just list them out right here to make it easy. Each valve is $350 a piece. So the pressure valve is $350 and the volume valve is $350. That does not include shipping. Of course, though, we can send them by USPS priority, and that's not that expensive. It's like $20 to ship them. Okay, a reman pump with the valves installed is $23.50. So like to buy this pump right here, just install the valves on it, $2,350. That does not include shipping, but that is the pump. The pump will have a 2-year warranty on it, unlimited mile, okay? And I stand by that. Now granted, if you run bad fuel, and bad fuel is what kills this pump, I got nothing for you. That is not maintaining your vehicle correctly. That is on you. But if you maintain your stuff, you take care of your truck, whatever, this pump decides to stop working one day within that 2-year unlimited mile, I will send it to me, and I'll send you a new one. Simple as that. I don't mind backing my stuff. But, again, ideally, once you put this in there, you run good fuel, change your filters like you're supposed to, you should have no issues. This pump should outlast that motor, hands down. So, again, the valves are $350 a piece. Not going to sell these. These are junk. These can go in the trash can for all I give a crap. But the new ones, $350 a piece. Again, shipping's probably like about $20 or so. It's not going to be that expensive. But yeah, if you want to contact me, you can email me at notaslowdiesel@gmail.com. I don't know if I'm going to put them on eBay. I do my billing. I have QuickBooks and stuff, so you can actually pay by credit card online. It's not, again, this isn't like a just cash at me and then all that crap. I don't scam. Again, if nobody buys them, that's cool too. I don't really give a crap. All I know is that for my customers, for my direct customers, as well as my own trucks, I now have access to the valves. And I can keep these trucks on the road, but I'm just trying to help out other people. That's really where this is at. The more I can help people, the better. In my eyes, there are still a lot of 6.4s on the road for a truck that was sold for 3 years and produced for 5. A lot of them are still on the road. So just trying to help everybody out again, you know, because you may have a good pump, like the pump I pull out of my red truck, which is up on the shelf right now. It just has bad valves. So, and that truck took 4 pumps before I finally found a pump that's good enough. And that was going to be my test truck, but since my father's decided to die first, his got the valves. So I still got to I'm going to do mine probably here in a week or two. Put new valves in it, and I'll probably make another video of that, kind of explaining that. But yeah, that's where we're at, though. So thanks for watching again. If you want to contact me on these valves, notaslowdiesel@gmail.com, all one word. And then if you're finding this video off the Facebook forums, you could send me a direct message. Or if like I said, either way, or if it's on YouTube, again, just email me, and we can get them sent to you. So, appreciate the views. I hope this gave some people some knowledge. I hope, just try to explain things as better as I can. If there's still any questions, then I guess go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll try to respond. But yeah, I will send some videos of data logging and trending them, or make some videos doing that. But like I say, these old valves, I mean, these are all shit. They're all old. There's no telling how many miles. Again, if they patch a bench test and they put them on there. And most of them don't work in the real world. So, tends to be a common problem we got with these things. I run into it a lot with the 6.4s. I've ran into it a lot on my personal trucks, and that is what's really driven me over the edge was the personal trucks. It costs me money working on my own trucks. It's costing me time. I don't like wasting money, and I sure as hell don't like wasting time if we're wasting time. So those valves go to the trash can. These are the new ones. Again, notaslowdiesel@gmail.com. Have questions, concerns, send me in the comments or private message me or send me an email, and I'll reply.